Good afternoon, evening, whatever everyone's actually at right now. I'm Jenny, also known as Playing the Tiniest Violin, Hades, my bae. And as promised for 100 followers, I'm doing a Q&A session, which doubled in questions. In the one period of time I just tried to get some sleep. Thank you. You can see my cat over here trying to get behind the window. And let's get started. Why pick Hades, or what drew you into wanting to play Hades? 3 words, Michael Raymond James, that asshole. I've liked Hades generally as a Greek myth, not done a lot of Greek research until I started this role again. But once upon a time, my great love has been Balefire, aka Neil Cassidy, played by Michael Raymond James, who was killed off very stupidly in the 3rd season and came back for the 100th episode, so I figured, hey, I can watch 3 minutes of this again, because I have not watched Once Upon a Time since season 3. And he was first 2 minutes, fabulous. Kept watching the episode thinking this is dumb, okay good, I'm leaving this again, and then came the last 2 minutes, and Hades appeared, and I thought, this asshole. Because I was pretty sure at that point I was going to watch the rest of the season, and so far I have. But about 2 days afterwards, my friend over on my Balefire account said, why don't we do this whole little thread where Balefire is actually in the underworld, because they claim he's not, and that Hades is basically keeping him there. So I ended up doing Hades as an NPC and thinking, oh my god, I really love this. So I started up my own account, put it all together. It was just going to be Once Upon a Time. And then I met my darling Persephone. And this was not working for Once Upon a Time, so I started doing my research on the Greek myths and kind of created Olympian Hades as he is now. Which is worse to your character, failing or never trying? I would have to say Olympian would say never trying. Once Upon a Time would rather just not try at all and not fail. Are you more worried about doing things right or doing the right things? Probably doing the right things for both of them. Yeah. They're not exactly worried about doing things right all the time, unless it's screw things up, because they're a god. If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would you want to have with you? Hades is pretty much saying this is, what the hell am I doing on a desert island? This is Poseidon's territory, what the hell? I just go back down to the underworld. I can't do that, sweetheart. So, actually wrote this one. Bottle of wine, so he could drink it and then send out a message to everyone, please come help me. A knife and a volleyball, because basically he'd want to do this whole Wilson thing. So whenever they showed up, it would just, he'd be calling it Persephone and acting all crazy just for the thrill of it. Do you push the elevator button more than once? Do you really believe it will make the elevator faster? No, if he really wanted the elevator faster, he'd just basically drop it down. Because really the only one that would do that to an elevator is Once Upon a Time Hades. The other one has a lot more patience. Which works well. 5 differences between Greg Hades and Aiden Hades. So Once Upon a Time versus Olympian. Once Upon a Time Hades I really kind of see as having, less of the electronics. He's, going to read his paper books. He's not going to go and get a Kindle or something. He still does his paperwork by hand. Olympian Hades has his iPad and he's happy with it, and laptops, cell phone to get in contact with people if he needs to, just to kind of make things move faster. Olympian Hades is a lot more chill. I mean, you could keep going on about different misconceptions about each of them, and Olympian Hades would be, yeah, whatever. You're weird. Once upon a time, Hades is slowly plotting your death. Yes, I see you. This is one of my cats. Olympian Hades is admittedly easier to write at times, because Once Upon a Time keeps screwing up my character and I keep having to try and justify some of his actions, and sometimes justifying other people's actions. Go figure. Olympian Hades has his Persephone. Once Upon a Time, Hades has Persephone written into his background, that I've done at least, but probably not really going to be showing up. Once Upon a Time, Hades has a better wardrobe than Olympian Hades, let's be honest. At least with the suits. Olympian Hades will wear whatever the hell he wants. Black. Lots of dark colors. Oh, and here comes the questions that I received this morning that are making this a lot longer video than it was originally. Which is probably also why I'm not going into as much detail with some of these questions so far. This is Hellion's verse. Gee, I wonder who sent all the questions. But Once Upon a Time, where he has basically stolen 2 babies and raised them as his own. What does Hades plan to do with the kids when they eventually find out they were stolen? Do you think he will let them see his real parents if they were curious? He might let them take an escorted trip up to see their parents. Just because of my own twisted thinking, I think Zelena actually knows what happened, whereas the other parents do not know what happened to their babies. They just sort of vanished into thin air, and they don't even remember having them. So, go figure. He's gonna freak out a little bit, though, when they actually sort of figure that out. Which I know we've been sort of planning that happening. Oh, show me my father. Haha, that's not your father. At what point do you think he realizes he wants Peter Pan as family? Sometime after his heart is restarted, definitely. I don't know when the exact moment is. It probably just one morning he's looking at him over at the breakfast table and going, oh my god, I'm stuck with this kid forever, and I kind of don't hate it. What the hell? Who do you think in Once Upon a Time verse his favorite soul is to torture? Mina Harker. Oh, but only when she tries touching him too much that he doesn't like it, and it's, he just goes and throws her into rivers randomly. He also has the hots for her brother, so go figure. All of Once Upon a Time, though, if I had to pick someone canonly from the show. I don't know. Personally, I do think he'd have a lot of fun with Zelena. Which is funny considering the show says they're soulmates and true love, and I'm kind of like, no. That is one thing I am definitely not covering over here. At least not show canon-wise. Why did he think naming his daughter Nobody is a good idea? Does she know that is her full name? Yes, she knows that is her full name. Nobody comes from a combination of Odysseus, who basically went and blinded us Cyclopes after telling him, my name is Nobody. So he's yelling out for help, going, nobody has blinded me. And his brothers are basically, shut the fuck up. And it also comes from the Graveyard Book, which is a fabulous read if no one has actually ever done it. but nobody, as a name, I thought was pretty good in general. You tell someone, what's your name? No, nobody. I'm nobody. And that's also an Emily Dickinson poem. Pretty sure that's Emily Dickinson at least. You can look that one up, or maybe I'll get you a link. Oh, do you think in any verse he and Zeus have a chance of making up? Not in Once Upon a Time verse whatsoever, I can tell you that much. Olympian verse, he and Zeus are in fair, terms with each other. Depending on what exactly has been going on, that's going to change a little bit, but, spoilers. One thing that you hated the most about Once Upon a Time did with him. Basically that they turned him into a complete asshole. And, followed more along with the fiery hair, this, that, and the other, whereas that's not Hades. I've tried fixing this as much as I can, but there's only a certain line you can try to cross before you're completely turning him into your own, which I more or less have. There's still, the significant differences between him and the full Olympian verse, but one thing in particular, I kind of don't like that they took the whole Orpheus myth and let them out, to be honest. The whole Zelina thing also just annoys me. And to go with that question, do you think if they went with his original love story, they could have pulled it off? Yes. I think they could have pulled it off. I've tried writing a fic where they more or less could have pulled it off. But, nobody actually wants me in the writer's room at Once Upon a Time, apparently. Or the show would be so fabulous. If he was able in Hellion's verse, at least, would he find a way to let Pan and Rumpel see Balefire? Part of me thinks, that he still does have Balefire somewhere. At least in the beginning. But, yeah, I think he would, if he could. Because he's sort of regained his heart and all in that verse. So, he's a lot happier. A little more chill. Still probably going to kill you if you touch his kids, but, What was his favorite memory of the kids' baby years? I don't know if there's any in particular memory he would have. Just, kind of getting used to this whole parenthood idea. Watching them make Peter really, uncomfortable in general. Which has been a fun thread to do. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take that one and answer it separately, because I can't really think of anything at the moment about his favorite thing to do with all three of his kids individually and together. And does he worry about the ramifications of raising the kids in the underworld? Somewhat. Not really. I am missing questions somewhere. I have just realized that too. I mean, the advantage to the underworld, at least, is that they have got people watching over them constantly, which is actually kind of working out pretty well for him. And, okay, here are my other set of questions. Like I said, someone went crazy. No clue who. How does Hades plan to handle the kids' teenage years, education, and social life? I do think they actually have, like, a high school down in the underworld. Someone's running that place, because they've probably got teenage ghosts that go off and on, or souls, not really ghosts. So they would at least have a full education. They're probably better educated at that point than they would be in a, high school up above, because they're getting one-on-one attention a lot. So these kids are probably going to go to college if they decide to go to college, which is part of the question. If they wanted to go to the surface world, would he let them? Probably at that point. I mean, they're kind of grown up. He'd come to visit, annoy the hell out of them, that sort of thing. But I don't think he'd probably move with them, because he does kind of have his job down below. And I do think he kind of cares about that a little bit. And he'd want them to come and visit, because otherwise, you've kind of got your hope dying down below. And then he's just kind of turning back into bitter Once Upon a Time Hades that I ignore anyhow, for the most part. How does he handle having a son that both loves and fears him? He likes teasing the hell out of Peter, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, sometimes he knows better than to do it. Like when we're doing our really dark stuff and Peter just really needs his comfort, he's not going to send the doll after him. Oh, and if anyone has not been reading Arthur's and wondering about the doll, there is one in Her Handsome Hero, I believe is the episode, where Gaston basically shoots a Rumpelstiltskin doll, and we've all been trying to figure out what the hell is this doll. And I've pretty much decided that Hades created him just to torture Peter with him through all the years, that, oh, here you are, at least you have one son that loves you. So he sends him after him for hugs and that sort of thing, and basically summons this doll whenever he wants to. And it's this life-size mannequin that I personally think has Coraline eyes, button eyes, but that's me. And when does he finally accept Peter referring to him as Papa? Parts of him never quite entirely accept it, but he just sort of deals with it. And he does like the whole family thing. Okay, where am I getting messages from? I'll finish this up really quick. And can you give us any spoilers about Eternal Sunshine? If there is anything you have planned out. There is stuff planned out. There is so much stuff planned out for Eternal Sunshine. Oh my god, and I love it. And, can I do anything without really spoilering? Because it will be spoils. Zeus is going to show up at some point, and Hades is not going to be entirely happy about it because Zeus has a secret. Him and Demeter might make up one of these days. And Persephone will actually get her memories back at some point. How about that? That is pretty much everything I have, though this is getting extremely long. Who really wants to listen to me go on for almost 20 minutes? I hope you are all having a fabulous day. Thank you so much to my currently 108 followers. It was 110 last night, but I guess you can't handle my fabulousness. Whatever. Love you all very much, and I will be linking a lot of people underneath this video because I can't pronounce all of your usernames. I'm sorry.